Before we start the podcast, Brad and I would like to acknowledge a close friend that we lost this week to a long battle with cancer. Our friend Adrian was one of the nicest, most outgoing people we had ever met. One of the things that Adrian was very passionate about was video games. Both Brad and I spent many hours playing video games with Adrian in our circle of friends. About 2 years ago, Adrian and his brother created the Then Gen Gamers podcast to discuss everything from the very start of video games to last-gen systems. Brad and I were both guests on different episodes of the podcast, and because we both had a really fun experience podcasting, it helped inspire us to start the Auto Off Topic podcast. We'll miss you very much, Adrian, and our thoughts are with his brother Jay and the rest of his family. Thank you for inspiring us. You were truly a great friend. Okay, now we're recording. I guess it's my turn to do the intro. I didn't change it.
Yeah, it's funny. I thought it was my turn, but then I realized somehow I closed the Google Doc thing on the thing here. So once again, a professional entry into the podcast has begun.
That's all right. Welcome to episode 13 of Auto Off Topic Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew.
And I'm your host, Brad.
All right. So, still the middle of winter here.
It is. But I got a lot of stuff going on right now, so
we
can add. So we got some project car stuff and some stuff going on. But what's going on with you this week?
Not much. We didn't get snow. We got a nor'easter, but no snow. It was all rain
and wind. Lots of wind.
They still salted though.
Some places, not up by my way.
So bizarre.
Yeah, not up my way.
The car had salt on it. So weird. Whatever. Because it's not really that cold out. It's still in the 40s.
Yeah, it's in the it gets colder at night. Cold enough to worry about ice. But
I saw as I thought of our fellow podcast friend Cam Vanderhorst, because I saw a mystic cobra
out in the salt.
It was out on the highway. Every once in a while, I run across it on the way home.
Excellent.
It's like a local car, on 993, right outside of Boston.
I don't see those around very much.
No, it's a pretty rare car.
That's a very rare car.
And at first, I thought it was just a regular Mustang, and then I got up close to it the first time I saw it, and then I realized that in my headlights, I could see the chrome illusion type paint.
The paint flop.
Yeah, and then I noticed the little SVT badge, and I was like, that's so strange. Like, such a strange car to daily around here.
Yeah, it really is.
But
not everybody can have a winter car and a summer car, so...
No.
And if you take care of things...
Yeah, they last
a long time.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I'm going to the Rolex 24 on Saturday.
I'm still jealous.
Super pumped. I bought extra batteries because I'm going to be up for 24 hours with my camera.
I make sure the camera lasts the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, the factory Canon batteries last pretty long. But
they last a long time, yeah.
I bought 2 extra generic ones because it's just easier to have the generic ones. And
be careful charging them.
Yeah, I left them charging. One of them charging by itself upstairs, but
yeah, so do it overnight when you're out of the house. I would say.
No.
I get nervous with the off-brand batteries for that whole Samsung.
They are lithium batteries, and in the box it was like ground ship only. But
they came from China.
Yeah.
So how do they ship ground from China?
Well, you go on a boat, but I mean, you get on the plane with your camera and stuff, and I guess it's carry-on. You can't have it. I don't think you can check bags with lithium-ion stuff.
I have no idea.
But I don't know. Whatever.
I've never thought about it.
They never bugged me, so I just
never
got on the plane. About it. I bought an extra memory card, big old 64 gig.
So you can lose lots of photos at once?
That's right.
I like it.
Yep, plenty. And then I bought a little carrying case because I never had a carrying case for my SD cards because I always misplace my SD cards.
It's funny. I have the same problem, and I have like 5 or 6 of them just like loose in the front pocket of the camera bag. Yep. And then I'm always afraid that I'm going to spill them somewhere and not notice it. And I lost one actually on the trip to Canada to pick up the Delica with Chris. And all my pictures from that trip, I don't have any of them. I was going to do a nice big article on it somewhere, and no pictures, no idea where they went.
I can't find one of my 16 gig cards. I don't know where it is.
I think I have it.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think I used it at one of the car shows because I have a 16 gig card that I don't know where it came from.
Is it an Extreme SD card?
Is it blue?
No.
Black.
I use all SanDisk. It's black.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I put it on
should
my
be
nightstand.
black and red.
I put it on my nightstand because I didn't recognize it, so I think it's probably yours.
Okay. Well, that might explain it. I think that makes sense. Maybe it was like Japanese card A or something.
I think it was because I realized that all of mine were full.
Which is weird, too, because one of them is... One of my 16 gig cards, the plastic is actually separating on it.
Oh, that's weird.
They're all brand name. I didn't buy them like off eBay or something. I bought like actual packaged SanDisk. But it still works. So
It's one of those modern conveniences that's also a hindrance.
yeah,
Memory
but I
cards.
never compact flash cards. I mean, they're giant,
Yeah,
but
they're
I never
huge.
had a problem losing them.
That's because they're huge.
Yeah,
What I'm annoyed about now is that a lot of stuff, like I have the computer that I brought right down here to the podcast is one of those new Chromebooks, and it doesn't even have.
does it have a slot on it?
It's got a mini SD card slot, which is super annoying because those are even
That's
annoying.
not useful.
It's not useful at all.
I think the new.
It's the first negative I've come across in this little
I think
computer.
a lot of the Macs, the new ones, got rid of the SD slot, which is also annoying because a lot of people use Macs for photo
For
stuff.
photo stuff, yeah. So you have to use like a USB
Yeah, like an adapter.
adapter. Yeah, which I bought a USB to memory card adapter so I can use the USB port on the computer. But
Let's just stop at SD cards. They're
small enough.
small enough because the micro ones go in GoPros and they're super easy to lose.
Yep.
Which this little caddy thing has an extra slot. Like you could put micro ones below an SD card. It's like
I've
a
always
foam
stored
rubber.
my micro SD cards in the
adapter thing.
adapter things just so it's harder to lose them.
Yeah.
Not that it's impossible to lose them because they still are small, but
It's dumb how small they are.
yeah, it's very dumb.
Like the little door that's on GoPros on the like Hero 3s.
Yep.
Like I just take that door off because you just end up losing it
Losing the
anyways.
door anyway. And it's just annoying to open it and close it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, good luck on your trip. I wish you all the luck in the world. I wish I was going. Maybe next year we'll have to make a podcast trip there together and podcast from the race.
What we should do is go to the Midi.
Sure, in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I've been before. It's an awesome event.
Yeah. Because you get the truck now, we can tow a car down there with it.
We can. Or bring an empty trailer and buy something.
That's true.
One or the other.
So that should be on the list in the future. Basically, I'm just going to travel with just my camera bag and the clothes. I'm just going to bring layers.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
All I need is I've got 2 lenses, my zoom, my regular lens, and that's it.
True photog style.
That's it. I've got like an extra battery charger thing for my phone, and that's about it.
Like one of those
little
power banks.
Yeah, that's about all I'm going to bring.
Oh, I'm sure you'll be able to find places to plug a phone in while you're there.
Well, I'm going to have the rental car because I got to drive from Orlando.
Oh, that's true too. You
And
can
then
charge it in the car.
Yeah, I'm sure I need to take a nap at some point, but
More than likely.
try to stay up for most of it. But should be fun, and it's
And like I said, it will definitely be fun, and I am definitely jealous.
yeah. But so corrections and omissions this week.
Anything big?
Well, I should have pointed out when we were talking about my cars, I had never owned anything but 4-cylinder cars until I bought the Montero. Everything I owned had a 4-cylinder in it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very one-sided.
I think the Volvo was a 2.6. That was like the biggest one.
2.5, wasn't it? Did they do 2.6s in the Volvos?
I think they were 2.6.
We did this again. We now have a correction. Now
I
we
know.
have to correct
Damn it.
ourselves again. I thought that Mitsubishi had the 2.6, and it was the biggest one up to his time.
I thought a 240 was a 2.6. Or maybe it was a 2.3. Is that why it's a
2.3
B23?
Yeah, 2.3 sounds
It's a
better.
2.3.
Because I know the Mitsubishi was like an anomaly that it was a 2.6.
Talk through this. Yeah, it's a 2.3. Because the Subaru was a 2.5, and of course the Mitsubishi is a 2-liter, and the Mirage is a 1.8.
1.8. The big motor Mirage.
Yeah, the big one, the Hemi.
Exactly.
And then I didn't have anything that wasn't a 4-cylinder until I got the Montero, and it was a V6.
Well, that's kind of funny to think about, because I think I've had all the standard. I've had 4 cylinders. I've had
You've had a rotary.
a rotary. I have V8s. I've had 6 cylinders.
You
I
have
have a
a-
diesel V8. I have an air-cooled 4-cylinder.
Yeah, air-cooled 4-cylinder.
So I've had pretty much the gamut.
Yeah, I don't know what else. I mean, you'd have to have like a turbine car.
I've had a single-cylinder motorcycle and a 4-cylinder motorcycle.
If you had a radial powered
I have
car,
a twin.
is that a
twin
thing?
Motorcycle.
So that would be about it. I think that's
And
what
I'd
I'm
probably,
missing.
I can pretty much safely say at this podcast right now, I'll never own a radial engined car. So
You say that now.
I do. Yeah, that's true.
And then apparently you cannot readily swap the 5-cylinder engine into a rear-wheel drive Volvo.
You can, but it requires more fabrication and a lot more work than just dropping in
Yeah, if you just keep it in the family and
Exactly, that 2.3 motor, the V23, and keep it from there.
just turbocharge it.
Or just go with a 302 or an LS1.
Yeah, but I want a turbo 4 wheel drive Volvo because it's just
No,
cool.
as you just proved, you need to have a bigger engine in your life.
That's true. That's true. I do.
So we
need
need
a
to V8 something.
Okay. All right.
And the Cadillac doesn't count. The Eldorado, that's kind of your future probably someday car.
Probably.
Because that's still going to be a big slow car because it's 500 cubic inch front wheel drive. Yeah. So, project car updates. What you got? Have you worked on anything this week?
Nope.
I have a few.
You do?
I've been busy.
You have been busy.
I've been busy. Well, we'll start with the Cressida. As I was talking about before, I have had, as of today, a 1979 Toyota Cressida, and I sold it to a gentleman from Florida down Fort Lauderdale way.
Uh-huh.
I decided yesterday that I should probably fix the power steering for him because he's got a long drive. So somehow I managed to source a power steering pump that was in New Hampshire. Run to New Hampshire.
New Hampshire?
In New Hampshire, yeah. It was out of a 79 Toyota Supra that they had at a junkyard in New Hampshire.
Same drivetrain.
Car only had like 48,000 miles on it.
Yeah, but it was probably rotted into
junk.
the ground.
Yeah, it was junk. So I grabbed the part and I kind of did like a real whirlwind day yesterday of installing it in the car. Got it pretty much 100% installed, had everything all set and ready to go, didn't have any fluid, and I had to go pick up my daughter from school and do, home things. So the guy was flying in from Florida this morning at 10:10. His airplane was landing.
Did you pick him up?
Spirit Airlines, which he said was actually really good. He had a very good experience at Spirit Airlines.
I bet you the Florida run's not bad because they probably do it a lot.
It happens all the time,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but I had to pick him up at the airport at 10 o'clock this morning. So, at 8 o'clock this morning, I finished the install.
Full service.
Yes, very big time full service. 8 o'clock this morning, I finished up the install, filled it with fluid, tightened the belt, fired it up, and a geyser of power steering fluid pumped out of the front of the power steering pump and just sprayed the entire garage, the Cadillac parked next to me, the bottom of my hood, the entire engine bay, the wall, everything in sight in the garage is covered in power steering fluid. So now I have an hour to disassemble this thing and clean everything up before I have to get to the airport to pick him up.
All right.
So I got it all cleaned up, made it look half decent, and I picked him up with the bad news that I broke his car that he was buying from me today, that he flew up from Florida to get, that wasn't broken when we talked about it last. So he was pretty cool about it. He understands. I'm pretty sure he's going to 1J swap the car anyway.
Yeah.
Because he just sold a 1J turboed, 5-speed swapped IS 300 wagon.
Oh.
And he has a 1J single turboed E30 convertible.
Okay, so he's down with that.
So he's down with swapping it. So I don't think he really cared tremendously about it.
It's all highway.
It's all highway.
Straight
anyway.
down 95.
It's a recirculating ball steering setup, so it's not like the gear box is going to get ruined by using it dry.
No.
I knocked a couple $100 off the price of the car because of it, so he wins in the end. He's going to swap it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So he was happy. He loves the car. Car is currently on its way to Florida. He left my garage at about 11 o'clock, 11:30 this morning, and he was happier than could be until he got pulled over leaving the garage, which was kind of strange. But the cop let him go with nothing really but a written warning for doing nothing, and he's on his way back to Florida. So, knock wood, haven't heard from him. Hopefully he's good luck with it. Hopefully 1J swaps it successfully with the W154 transmission. And I hear about it in the future somewhere. So I told him if he does do that swap and he intends to sell it, he should probably call me back when he's ready to sell it.
It is a pretty car.
It's a gorgeous car.
And I mean, looking at the weather, there's not really a lot of weather right now on the East Coast.
No,
so.
he lucked out. And it was 45 degrees here today. He was still like, oh, my God, it's so cold. I have to get out of here.
No, he's probably past New York City. I'm sure he's in New Jersey by now.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. He's been on the road for 7 hours, 7.5 hours.
I mean, if you're quick about it, it's a day and a half, right?
Well, he's going to try to do it himself nonstop, which I told him was a bad idea.
That's rough.
I say, but He says him and his brother did it with his Lexus wagon from California to Florida in nonstop, the two of them. So he's like, I think I can do it nonstop, just me. And I was like, okay.
Wow.
That's dedication, sir. He's like, oh yeah, home to my family. And I was like, okay.
I can do about 12 hours, maybe 15.
Yeah,
stretch it.
I can do a little more than that, but not comfortably.
No.
I'd much rather go 12 to 15, stop, relax. Even if you just pull over for 3 or 4 hours and just take a nap in the car and start again, you're all right. But whatever, he didn't. So that's the project car update. I worked on it and sold it. I worked on it, broke it, and sold it anyway.
Yep.
What else have I going on? The cylinder head is finally at the machine shop. I haven't heard any word on that, but I know it's there.
Okay.
So we'll have more words on that next week. I have all the parts to put together. I have the gaskets and I have the head bolts. So I'm hoping maybe this weekend I'll have some time to scramble that a little bit.
Not clean the head. You clean the
top of the block already. It's ready to put the gaskets and everything on. It's ready to put back together. So that's good.
Yeah, the pistons look all right. So
yep. And excitingly, I am ordering a trailer. So got the new truck and
can bring your own trailer.
Can bring my own trailer, exactly. So I'm ordering a trailer, a brand spanking new enclosed trailer. So it should be
because it's a better deal than buying used ones.
It winds up being a better deal because you can buy them factory direct from the manufacturer.
Yeah, but where are they located?
Georgia. But I got to pick up a car in Florida anyway, so I'll go pick up my trailer.
You already get that lined up, which is good.
And head on out of Florida, pick the car up, and bring them both back.
And then you can head to the Southwest.
And pick up your truck.
That's right.
That is next. And I also had to pick up, I just heard from our friend Al, he is having his Mark I Escort shipped over within the next week or so.
Is that coming to like New York area?
It's going to go into, I think it's going to go into Maryland.
Okay.
And then the company who is shipping it is actually shipping it to Pottsville, Pennsylvania, just because they're going to deal with all the customs issues.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to pick it up in Pottsville, Pennsylvania, and bring it home as well. So I got a few things lined up already, so that's good.
Which is nice that you get the enclosed trailer. That is huge.
It's huge for especially that car, and the car I'm picking up in Florida is actually, when we had our guest a few weeks ago, Jared was talking about doing a photo shoot of the Ford EXP.
Yeah.
It's actually the EXP he did a photo shoot of.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, the guy who owned it sold it and then bought it back. So I'm picking it up for him.
Nice.
So that's good. Those are my updates.
So it's a 20-foot trailer?
It's an 8.5 by 20 with a 6.5-foot roof.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a good size. It's a little oversized for one car.
Yeah, but you can put
it'll
stuff
give me
in it.
space.
You can put parts in it.
Yeah, I'll bring a car and a motorcycle, or
Does it have a winch? You can add a winch.
I can add a winch. It was $70 to have them add the winch plate when they're building it, so it'll all be ready to go. I don't have to worry about fabricating it later.
Definitely add the
so
winch
I'm like,
plate.
for $70, definitely put the winch plate in it.
No, because we can put in a winch afterwards.
Exactly, and the same thing with the tie downs. They'll do. There's different kind of rack systems, and then there's just D-rings, and we're just going to go D-rings for now on this trailer. And I think eventually when I upgrade to a bigger trailer, I might go with the rack systems for tying down.
What's it? Is it aluminum?
The trailer is steel frame with aluminum and plywood skin.
Cool.
So they're very cool. It's a cool setup. It takes 10 days to get from order to delivery. So
yeah, 6.5 feet. So it'll probably the Montero will just fit. You probably have to like drain the air out of the tires
down. And I was thinking, and I haven't finished the order yet. I can add another 6 inches of roof height for like $140. So I'm kind of like, I'm thinking about it. I haven't decided 100% yet.
I'm trying to think like,
because the problem is that the door height is going to be a couple inches lower.
It's true.
So if the trailer ceiling height is 6.5, the door is going to be like 6 and 6 foot. 6 foot. 2.5.
And just like, what if, I don't know, if somebody was like, can you transport my pre-war car? Like, how tall are those things sometimes?
Yeah, exactly. So I can make it a 7-foot roof height with relative.
That might be a good idea.
Relative ease. So that may be happening.
Just give you a, and then, because sometimes car parts are big if you're, or.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can also transport other stuff.
That's the beauty of an enclosed trailer.
Yeah.
Anything that fits, ships.
That's right. So, all right, that's
if
good.
If it fits, it ships. So that's pretty good. So I'm excited about that. And selling the Cressida really kind of put that whole process in motion. So it's bittersweet that the car is gone.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it went to a guy who's very appreciative of old Toyotas, loves old cars, and is going to do right by the car.
You can always get another one.
And it's a Cressida. It's an MX-32 Cressida.
They're not
super common.
Not super common, but they're not super rare. I mean,
no, they're
I'm
not.
sure you'll come across another one in your.
Oh yeah, I'll never come across one with as clean of an interior as this car had, though.
No.
It was the nicest one I've ever seen.
but at least it's going to somebody that appreciates it. And
It does. He's going to take care of it.
if it wasn't going to be left stock, it needed an engine swap to be kind of cool.
To be really cool, it did.
To be really cool.
I mean, it still sounded good.
It did sound good.
But, I mean, I know he's the right buyer for it because he already had it scheduled to have a suspension install done on it before he even left. And before he does that, he's going to detail the car.
Okay.
So he's the right guy to own the car.
Yeah. So I want to see pictures of it.
Yeah, I can't wait. We're going to stay in touch. And actually, he has a couple of other cars that BMW he's trying to sell down there. And he talked to me about helping him advertise it through Vine, too. So we'll be in touch with him for a while.
Cool. But, all right, that's cool. So, real quick, because the last couple podcasts we were just drinking water. But
Or
tonight,
coffee.
Yeah, or coffee. But tonight we actually have Brad brought over Mighty Squirrel Mocha Stout.
And it's delicious.
It is really good. I never heard of it, but apparently they're based out of Boston.
Yeah, the company's based out of Boston, yeah. It's brewed somewhere else.
Yeah, like I said, it's probably contract brewed, which is what a lot of microbreweries do.
It's delicious. It's very smooth, very chocolatey. But it's if you like stouts, then you would definitely try to find it somewhere. If you don't live in Boston, I'm sure you probably can't get it, but it's
got
delicious.
the profile right here: dark, rich, toasty, and creamy, with notes of chocolate and roasted coffee.
There you go. That's exactly how I would describe it.
Yep.
Good job, company, knowing your own product.
Yep, it's delicious. So, Scale Project car updates. I have basically finished the Aoshima Evo 10, except the hood doesn't fit right.
It's not that the hood doesn't fit right. I think some of the parts under the hood don't fit right, causing the hood to not sit
Which
flush.
is weird because the kit is so nice.
Yeah, otherwise, it's been perfect.
Otherwise, as we say, it fell together, basically.
Yep, the whole shake the box thing.
And even I was worried about, because all the parts were pre-painted on the sprues, I was worried about cutting them off and you'd be able to see where
it was attached.
But the way they did it, you can't really see where I cut them off. And I was very careful, of course, while doing it.
Right.
And then, I mean, you're looking at it right in front of you, but when I get the hood fixed, I'll post more pictures of it. But it's pretty much done. I just kind of wiped it down, all the fingerprints off it. It's super shiny.
Yeah, it looks really good. It's very professional paint job on it.
It looks like a one of those resin die cast you'd buy.
Yeah, it looks like a very high-end die-cast car.
Yeah, it's cool. And if more manufacturers did pre-painted ones, I'd buy more of them.
Yeah, I'm on the fence still. I like it.
I like listen to get me.
You couldn't enter it into a model car show or something,
but to get me back into it, it was very satisfying.
To complete it, yeah.
That it's just completed, and there's no frustration of trying to paint it and then the paint being fucked up. So,
right.
And then I got in the mail. I've got to stop by the post office because I got my pickup card. The Delica Star Wagon kit that was re-released.
Yes,
is waiting for me at the post office.
Actually, a friend of the podcast, Chris, ordered the two of them the same day you ordered yours.
Yeah,
because I got a text message from both of you. Hey, the kit's shipped. He's already in the process of building his.
Nice.
He's been texting me for hints and tips all day because he hasn't built the model in 30 years.
Nice.
So it should be interesting to see how that turns out. And I've been trying to help him out along the way and let him know how we do it. Not if we do it right or wrong, but just give hints and tips. And
yeah.
So I'll be helping him out with that and telling him what to buy and where to buy it and all that stuff. So thankfully, Tamaya makes a spray can that's pretty much exactly the color of his truck. Mm-hmm. So that's good.
I sent you a couple videos about thinning out Tamaya paints for airbrush use.
And I wish I could say the name of the channel because it was really good video. The one about the
Andy's Hobbies.
Andy's Hobbies. It's a hobby shop in Phoenix.
Yeah.
But it's really well done video.
Yeah,
it's a really well done video, and I'm certainly going to try to check it out when I go out there.
Yeah, but the Tamaya now I guess just came out in this country. It's available as their panel line stuff.
Yeah, the panel line, like black wash stuff, and the videos that I watched was of that, and it was pretty mind blowing how well it worked.
Yeah, exactly. But it's enamel as opposed to the regular Tamaya acrylic stuff,
right?
Which is interesting. But watching that guy use the airbrush the way he used it, I was like, oh, that's what
I'm doing wrong.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, for years I never used an airbrush, and then suddenly using it was like a leap forward. It was like,
yeah, exactly.
Like, this is way, way better. You should have been using an airbrush many years ago.
But then, as we realized afterwards, the paint is thinner when you start sanding it afterwards.
Yes.
So it's a learning curve.
That's the next thing. I'll probably do that next week after I'm back, and I've got photos edited, but I'll work on that kit, get that finished, and then I'll pick another kit out of the pile here, and we'll do something else.
Excellent. Speaking of kits in the pile,
Yeah,
we have to remind everybody of our coloring contest.
that's right.
Because it ends in the next week or so. The prize will be a kit from either my pile or Andrew's pile of kits. We'll give the winner options of a few different ones, I'm sure, and maybe something that suits their style. But there's some pretty old, out-of-production stuff that might be listed as a prize. Some pretty fancy stuff that you can't even get anywhere anymore because we've been doing this for our entire lives. So keep an eye out for that. Probably won't be any of our coveted Mitsubishi kits, but it might be something else. It definitely will be something else. There'll be something interesting will be able to be had. So get your coloring contest in. If we don't get too many entries, we'll do one for both digital and regular.
Yep.
And if we get an overwhelming amount of entries, we'll do one digital and
Yep.
one regular ink and pen. So
Because that'll be next week.
yeah, it's coming up. Color your damn pictures.
Yeah.
We have a few.
So it'll be February
We want
1st,
more.
2017.
Which is coincidentally the next podcast.
That's right.
So, anyway,
But what else you brought?
not really a scale project car update, but speaking of scale cars, I brought a couple of Hot Wheels cars here.
Yes.
I know we've talked briefly in the past about the premium Hot Wheels versus the $1 Hot Wheels,
Yes.
and how Andrew doesn't like to spend more than $1 on Hot Wheels,
Not typically.
unless it's worth it to him. But I brought a couple of die-cast Hot Wheels cars here of the same car.
Yep.
And I'm going to take a couple of detailed shots of them, and I'll put them on our Instagram page, so our Facebook page, or both, so you can see the quality difference between the $3.50 Hot Wheels and the $1 Hot Wheels. They're basically the same all around, except if you look at most $1 Hot Wheels cars, they'll either have a die-cast body or a die-cast chassis, and the other part will be plastic.
Yeah.
And they have, obviously, the plastic single-piece wheels, and usually less color than one that's more expensive. The $3.50 and then up Hot Wheels cars always have a die-cast body and a die-cast chassis, and then they have two-piece wheel and tires, which are like a nice wheel with a rubber tire attached to it. So, and a lot of the more expensive Hot Wheels have printing not... one of the things about Hot Wheels cars is to keep them under $1. If the Hot Wheels car has printing on the sides, it won't have printing on the fronts and backs.
Yep.
So when you get into the more premium lines, they'll have printing on left and right and front and back. The particular one I brought doesn't have printing on the front and back because it has a very intricate endless line style 60s paint job on it.
Yeah.
So they couldn't do it, obviously, in the budget. But it's the 1955 Gasser Hot Wheels car, which is one of my favorites. Not really the style of car we talk about much here on Auto Off Topic, but
We like old hot rods.
Yeah, old hot rods are very, very up there.
There's some
in my,
old
my
hot rod
favorites.
shops around. Old hot rod shows here in the summertime that we'll have to check out this summer.
Oh yeah, of course. And I've always been a fan of the Gasser style in general. That raised front end.
I like
big motor and
60s, early 70s style hot rods.
yep. Yeah, before they went to all the billet aluminum in the 80s and the Boyd's Customs.
Yeah, the 80s stuff is.
Yeah.
That was one of the coolest things was when you go to the vault at the Peterson, they had a lineup of early 60s all the way till the 2000s.
Yep.
And the progression of the ridiculousness.
Yeah, for the how the taste in the 50s was awesome. The cars were really sleek and really cool.
60s got real
and then
crazy.
in the 60s we got some really crazy customs from like George Barris and
got
stuff.
even crazier.
I don't think the customs got crazier in the 70s. The paint jobs got a little crazier. You started getting the panel painting and the endless lines and a lot more of the fading and a lot more of the
What is
metallics.
endless line? What do you mean?
Endless line is, and this isn't really a good podcast topic, but if you look at the top of this Hot Wheels car,
Yeah.
you can see how the line kind of continues like this,
Yeah.
and it continues on throughout the whole car. It's one designed line that just goes all the way around the car, like a pinstripe that doesn't stop. So, and then the panels are painted in between it. Sometimes they'd put lace, or they'd put some kind of intricate
So when they put
design on
lace
top
down
of it.
and paint over it or something?
Yeah, they panel paint the lace and endless line around it. A lot of the lowriders in the Southern California lowrider culture
Yeah.
use these styles.
Yeah.
But it came from the 70s hot rods.
Neat.
The Gassers and some really cool stuff. Actually, Gassers, 70s were the end of the Gasser, and it was really the beginning of the Street Freak, I guess they called it. The Gassers were usually higher in the front, lower in the back.
Yeah, it was
And
something
then
there was some sort of way to have weight transfer
weight distribution, yeah.
and like a shorter wheelbase.
But it was ultra wheelbase cars, yeah.
Yeah.
But then into the 70s, you had the streetcar movement was the street freaks,
Yeah.
which were huge, jacked up in the back and lowered in the front with big dumb motors.
Weren't a lot of Colts, rear-wheel drive Colts, when they dropped?
A lot of them were done that way.
They dropped Chrysler engines
yeah, they
into
put
them?
360s or 318s in them, jacked them
so
to the
small.
sky in the back.
Yeah.
So, and actually, they ran the Colt in an HRA. Like Bob Glidden ran one, and some of the big names ran Colts.
Were they outlawed
And they
eventually?
were outlawed because the short wheelbase made them dangerous.
Yeah.
So they were too fast and too squirrely.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's a little
But
again,
I guess-
off topic about Hot Wheels cars.
Yeah, but I guess if the rules stated you have to have the same manufacturer engine, you
Yeah,
could
you
buy
could
the
put-
smallest Dodge available.
Right. You could put a 572 Hemi in a Colt, exactly, or whatever size motor they were.
Yeah.
They were big Hemis and Colts.
So,
But and then they changed to a wheelbase rules. I think is what outlawed the Colts in the end. So anyway, that's it's not really a scale project car update, just a little scale car info. I'll take pictures of these side by side, and you can see the difference. It's one of my favorite Hot Wheels cars to come out in the past 10 years. So
I think I have a black version
there's
of
a
it.
flat black one, a silver one, a blue
Yeah,
one.
I got it
There's
somewhere.
a few different ones. It's a really cool casting. And
So-
the premium one is really nice.
So we've got some listener questions. I think that's what we're going to do tonight.
Yeah, we have a lot of listener questions,
Yeah.
so we're going to kind of stay off topic, I think, and get right to that.
Listener Steve Boutin had two questions, and we'll do this first one. So what are your favorite Japanese wheels? And I think Brad's got a bunch of them. So why don't you...
Well, as far as favorites go, you can't have all of them be your favorites.
No.
The ultimate Japanese wheel, to me, will always be the 8-spoke Watanabe,
Okay.
or Watanabe. I don't
Yeah.
know how to pronounce it. It's much like when we had the argument about Tamiya models. Is it Tamiya? Tamiya?
Yeah.
Tamiya?
It's a good go-to.
Watanabe is like the traditional 8-spoke, banana spoke Japanese wheel. It's very similar to the European style mini lights. So it's it's a classy looking wheel. I have a set of them in not a super aggressive fitment. They're 15 by 7.5 plus 4 millimeter offset that I've been waiting to finish my Starion for 100 years.
Yeah.
To eventually put them on the Starion to that nice dark gunmetal color, and I think that they'll look really, really good on that car. There's four different types of the 8-spoke Watanabe. Type A, Type B, Type F, and Type R. I think the Type R's are magnesium, so it's obviously the racing ones. The Type A and B have a slightly different lip design, and the Type F is front-wheel drive offset. So they're more flat face than the other ones. There's also an RS8, which is a 3-piece version of it, which is a little less traditional looking. But I would say 100% my favorite vintage Japanese wheel is the Watanabe.
Okay.
Perfect.
I guess it would be vintage now because they came out a while ago, but T37s.
Yeah, and they have the TE37V too, which is designed for vintage cars. But I mean, they're from the early 90s.
I mean,
so.
it's an early 90s design,
Yep.
but it's held up. It's kind of a timeless wheel.
Yeah, and another one that I like a lot is the Enki 92.
Yep.
That standard basket weave style.
Yes, that's what I was trying to think of.
I've had a few sets of them, and
It's also a good wheel.
I currently have a set on my Starion that will get the Watanabes. And I'll probably move the Enki 92s to the Sapporo, I think. So, and then a runner-up, I guess, would be the Hayashi Streets,
Yes.
which are, if you're an American car enthusiast, think about kind of like a really aggressive version of an 81 Corvette wheel.
Yeah.
It's like a multi-square slotted wheel. Just look them up, Hayashi Streets. They're a very good traditional Japanese wheel.
Yep.
They made a copy of those as well called the Shakotan, which I had on my Cressida.
Yep. Those are good looking wheel.
Yep, 100%.
And then, so his second question was, what is your favorite Japanese media outlet?
Meaning media outlet from Japan, or
I think so. So mine would be Best Motoring.
Best Motoring was awesome.
I love Best Motoring.
There's two enthusiast ones that I follow and watch their YouTube channels or blogs.
Yep.
One of them is Wasabi Cars. Dan Grady, I think his name is. He's an Australian living in Japan who is a big vintage car nut, and he goes to vintage car, cruise-ins and car shows and race days, and he does video blogs about the cars.
Nice.
And it's all in English because he's from Australia. And the other one is Noriyaro. It's Noriyaro. Another thing, he's a foreigner living in Japan. He does a lot more drifting and track day stuff.
Yep.
But it's all in English, so it's direct from Japan, all in English. So, and again, you're right. Best Motoring is awesome. A lot of the magazines are awesome. I can't read them, unfortunately, because I don't know how to read.
Auto Otaku? Is that
in the store?
No.
Oh, that's a magazine. You're right.
It's a blog,
right?
right?
Yeah. So, and then the best, my favorite place to get anything information Japanese wise is our friends at Japanese Nostalgia Car.
Yes.
Yeah, they have a forum, they have a blog, they have they had a magazine for a short period of time, and they have all kinds of cool little gear, and they really support the hobby a lot, and they really promote the vintage Japanese car as more than just a throwaway car.
Yep.
So I'd say that in this country, Japanese Nostalgia Car is probably almost single-handedly responsible for bringing the cars to the forefront that they have.
Yep. Well, even with their partnership with Mattel and Hot Wheels.
Yeah, the Hot Wheels cars they do.
That's so cool.
And they bring they have a couple artists that do work directly with them. They sell prints of their work, and it's really a Sam Mamiya?
Something like that.
Yeah, he does cool vintage
Yeah,
Japanese
look
car
him
art.
up on Instagram.
Yeah, really cool art.
Yep.
I have one of his prints from Japanese Nostalgia Car framed in my living room.
Yeah, I'm super jealous that you have one. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. You can buy that print. It's not like super exclusive, but
I know.
you should pick one up. There's a couple cool ones.
All right. Our friend Jared, who's a guest, asks, if you did a Lemon-style race, what would you pick?
What car would we pick?
Yeah. Oof. What car would we pick? The go-to, I don't want to say like a Mitsubishi Eclipse or something.
That wouldn't be what I would pick anyway.
No, we should do something just totally out of left field.
I would choose something that is just maybe not what you would think of for a race car, but what you think of as just a reliable, cheap car, like a '98 Pontiac Grand Prix. Not a supercharged one, just a regular one, just a lame, terrible car that you can buy for $500 that will just handle the abuse of the whole race.
So like a second gen Ford Taurus.
Exactly. It's like something so boring that you would never even think to use it, and nobody else runs them, and you'd have to come up with a really interesting theme to make it interesting for people. But it just seems like the cheapest way to do it is to get something that's so cheap, so readily available, and not what you would think of.
No.
And something that you don't care about, because that's why I couldn't use an Eclipse or a Merkur XR4 Ti or even a Miata, because I don't want to ruin the car.
Yeah.
I have way too much mechanical sympathy and way too much like heartfelt love for my cars to ruin them. I need crap.
Got to be a garbage car.
Yep, 100%.
And just whatever.
Literally, whatever you can get pretty much pulled out of a junkyard that is going to run just fine. Mm-hmm. With that six-cylinder in that Grand Prix I was saying, you can pretty much overheat that car, let it cool off, and go drive it again.
Well, it's like the Tauruses have the single cams. Like they just
go and go and go and go and go. Exactly. That's what you're looking for.
Yeah. Because even like a Crown Vic would be too common.
Yeah, it's too. I don't know. Just a Crown Vic would probably be fine too.
Yeah.
But I just think that just completely out of left field, not a car anybody would ever think is a handling car, because it's not, or anybody would ever think is a race car, because it's not, and just use it and beat it up and not care about it.
Yeah.
So that's how I would go.
All right.
Sounds like you agree with me on that one.
I agree. So Jeremy Nutt asks, and he starts out by saying, and we'll talk about this a little bit. Amazon has declared that they are going full force into the auto part world this week. He wants to tell us about your online auto part shopping experiences. What do you love, hate about shopping online for automotive stuff? So Brad, how do you personally buy parts online? Who do you buy from, or do you?
It depends on what I'm buying.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a go-to retailer. Obviously, Rock Auto is the one that anybody that owns an old car knows, because they stock parts for very obscure cars.
They do.
I've got parts for the NSU from Rock Auto before.
The shipping usually kills you.
They charge a lot to ship things, and they keep things in multiple warehouses that don't make sense. Like the brake calipers and the brake pads should come from the same warehouse, but they don't always.
Yeah, I usually end up, so if you're on Rock Auto and you've used this before, you know what I'm talking about. You'll put stuff in your cart, and then it'll be like warehouse A, warehouse B, and you're like, fuck. So then you got to go back.
They charge you shipping from A and B.
Yeah, so you got to go back, and you're like, all right, find me stuff that's in the same warehouse.
Right.
And
But, as alternatively, every shipment that you get from a different warehouse,
yeah,
you get a sweet magnet.
that's true. It's true. I've got a lot of those magnets.
Yeah.
So, but sometimes what I'll do is because their catalog is so good,
You'll find the part number.
I'll find the part number.
100%.
And then just for shits and giggles, sometimes you pop the part number in Amazon because you get Prime shipping.
Yep.
And sometimes you get the right part.
And it pops right up.
And sometimes you get a vanity mirror instead.
That was funny, actually. Like
So-
a $300 vanity mirror.
Something like
too.
that. It was like $100 or something. So I needed a rear wheel cylinder for the Montero. And it was like
Common enough.
It was like $12, but it was like $8 to ship from Rock Auto. I was like, that sucks.
Right.
So I go on Amazon, I put it in, I found it. I was like, great. I order it, my Prime shipping. It shows up like a day later. It's this like Simply Human like vanity mirror.
Like super fancy German.
Like magnifying vanity mirror. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And Amazon just sent it to me randomly.
Yep.
So Stephanie got a nice makeup mirror.
$100 makeup mirror.
$100 makeup mirror. I gave it to her.
And you spent $8 again and bought your part.
Yeah, I just hit reorder, and they just sent me the right part that time.
That's so weird. Did you feel guilty after that?
No, because it's Amazon. Who cares?
Well, I'm sure some poor sap somewhere went to do their makeup and open the box up, and the hell is this?
And Amazon will just send them another one.
That's true.
That's the thing. Once I have some inside knowledge about how Amazon works, and
Trying to sell books with them.
It's not. They're not great to the suppliers.
Right.
You know, there's a reason why they're the biggest retailer and why they have prices so cheap. So,
So what you're saying is you don't mind screwing them once in a while.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I certainly buy stuff from them. It's definitely a good way to get stuff, but occasionally it's just easier to go to the parts store. Like if you need oil, you gotta go to the parts store.
Yeah, 100%.
Like,
And I did that yesterday. I looked up a part by application on Rock Auto and went to Napa and used a part number to buy it from Napa. Because my local Napa is awesome.
yep.
And I like to support them to keep them in business because they really help me out. And finding obscure things, they're really good with searching them out too.
Well, we were both parts professionals at one point.
I like that. Parts professional.
We were, because we were very good parts people. There are some,
If we say so ourselves.
yeah, there were some not great parts people, and there are some good parts people.
Some people are just in it for a paycheck, and some people are in it because they truly like
Yeah,
cars and car parts and talking about
And
cars.
you can't expect, you go into like an AutoZone or Advance, you can't always expect them to be like total car people. Like some people are just there because they need to get paid. They need a
I
job.
was at AutoZone yesterday
Yeah.
because it's near my house buying the power steering fluid for the Cressida. And the guy behind the counter was arguing with the customer that the trim level on his car was not what he was saying it was. And the customer was like, no, the car is an RT. It was like some Dodge product.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I don't list an RT. And he's like, well, I'm just here for a headlight bulb anyway.
Yeah.
I hand you the bulb. It says H1 on the bulb.
Smash on the bulb.
You don't need to look at the car.
know.
And he had aftermarket headlights, and it was supposed to be like a 9006, and he had an H1, and it was a whole thing. And I'm standing there waiting to pay for my power steering fluid, and I'm like, oh my God, can we please finish this so I
that's
can
like
just get out of here?
Anytime we need parts for Stephanie's wagon, it's a Legacy Outback. But if you go there, they just have Outback, which was also an
pops up.
Impreza
Yep.
Outback, and it's I'm like it's a Legacy wagon. Just
Okay, do you want real confusing?
yeah,
1980 Dodge Colt.
okay,
You could get my car,
Yep.
which is a 1.6 liter front wheel drive car. You could also get a 1.4 liter front wheel drive car, or with the same name was the 2.6 liter rear wheel drive station wagon.
yeah,
All called Dodge Colt 1980. So it's a crapshoot that you're going to get the right parts.
Yeah.
I think I got each set of rear brake shoes before I got the correct ones in that car. So
Now everybody would always get annoyed when I would ask for like the last 8 of the VIN because they didn't have it or something. I mean, body shops, repair shops, they knew to give
and
you
you,
the VIN.
but you wouldn't do it for wiper blades either.
No, I
You
wouldn't
just
do it for
stuff
wiper
that
blades.
You should have it for.
There's certain stuff, yeah, you just know it's wiper blades. You know what the oil filter was for all your cars that you sold.
MZ690116.
Yep, and 072s.
Yep.
The 072s are the skinnies, and the 116 is the fat.
See, now that's the mark of a professional parts guy. because we haven't worked there for me almost 10 years and you almost 5 years.
Yeah.
And we still remember the stupid oil filter part numbers.
Yeah, there was a while when it was like air filter, oil filters. I didn't need to look them up. I just punched in the part numbers and.
When I was there, the most common thing was gallants and eclipses, and it was air filter, oil filter, cabin filter, lower control arms.
Yep.
And that was it.
Yep.
Every single car that came to the shop.
But I'll tell you. So the reason why you asked for the VIN is because sometimes parts are specific to a car, and the other thing too is, at least in Mitsubishi world, people would call up and say they have a Montero, but there's also a Montero Sport.
Correct.
And the same thing with the Outlander. There's also an Outlander Sport. And you would ask somebody if they didn't have the VIN, do you have an Outlander, Outlander Sport? And they would go, I don't know.
Right.
So you could get totally different parts.
For a completely different vehicle.
Completely different vehicle. And I would always tell people, listen, I'm not asking for the VIN to be a jerk. I'm asking the VIN so that we get you the right parts the first time.
And also, a lot of body parts came pre-painted from Mitsubishi for a while, which people didn't realize. And then if they happened to have that right color in the warehouse, they would ship it to you.
Yes.
So you may as well try to get the right color for a mirror cap or something.
And what happens is, if I use the VIN and we got the completely wrong parts, we could figure it out.
Right.
There was some, ability.
And there was a course of action of where the error happened.
Exactly. I could look in the parts program, and if there was an error, the warehouse would ship me the correct part for free. It would not recharge me for it.
Yeah, they wouldn't charge you for stocking either. Restock the other part.
So yes, there is a reason to it. It's not just because we're dumb or we like to make life difficult.
So in conclusion,
yes,
Rock Auto, get your part numbers, find them elsewhere. But
mostly,
sometimes buy them from Rock Auto too, because if we do this all the time, then they're not going to have a parts catalog to go to anymore.
Yeah, but
if I buy one or two things, I usually buy from Rock Auto just because it's quick and easy.
I think I did a full tune-up on the Montero for like $150 from Rock Auto.
However,
if you order enough stuff and you get it all from the same warehouse, the shipping is reasonable.
Yeah. However, I do have an issue with the return policy for Rock Auto.
They're kind of annoying, yeah.
It's super annoying. And if it's been over a certain amount of time, like, because I bought the cylinder head gaskets for the Cressida, and then we didn't do the job.
Yeah.
Because winter came, and I parked the car, and it was 6 months later, and I pulled it out, and the cylinder head gasket was like 100% wrong.
Yeah.
It wasn't even close. When I called Rock Auto, and they said, TS, you're out of luck.
Yeah.
It was 6 months ago. We're not going to do anything for you, even though you paid $100 for the parts, and your order history is like $3,000 deep. We're not going to do anything for you.
Yep.
So that really kind of rubbed me the wrong way because I've spent so much money with them over the years that it really bothered me. They wouldn't fix that one problem.
Ooh, that tastes totally different. So I switch beers on everyone. I have a Shipyard chocolate milk stout, and it tastes like totally different.
Not nearly as smooth.
No, it's still good though, but it's more on the bitter side.
It's more common. It's more I don't common. I sound like a beer snob. It's more. Yeah, it's more plebeian, all right? I'm a beer snob tonight.
They're out of Portland. I mean, if you're in New England and you go to Portland, Maine, it's a really good beer town.
Yes.
We'll say that.
It's a great beer town.
It's
tons
amazing.
of great breweries.
Yeah. So
my bachelor party was there from what I remember.
Yes, we drank a lot of beer. But anyway, Jeremy had a follow-up question, and he wanted us to rank the following order from least to most awesome.
Okay, go ahead.
So I'll read them off. See, it says, searching for a sweet deal in a car.
Awesome.
Wrenching on your car.
Usually awesome.
Casually driving your car.
Awesome.
Showing your car at a car show.
Sometimes.
Racing your car. But awesome. you have to do it from least to most awesome.
I think that we'll both agree that racing your car is always the most fun.
Yes.
And we're not talking like street racing. We're talking autocross, track day, rallycross, road rally, TSD rally. We haven't personally done them, but we're going to be doing a lot of them, I hope, in the near future.
What?
Vintage car rallies.
Oh, yeah. I would
like the Driving Well Awesome rally that's coming up. I'd love to be out there doing that.
I want to do the JNC one.
I'd love to do the Toge California or the Toge 80s.
Yes.
Or any of the California ones up in the mountains. The Snowball Rally.
I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, it's a really cool vintage car one. It's all pre-72, I think.
Cool.
The one that I want to do, that I'm trying to convince my father to do, is the British Reliability Run. Yeah. Which is 2 days, I think. It's like 400 or 500 miles. It's in Virginia. Yeah. And it's a loop. So it starts in one town and does this whole scenic mountain drive loop and goes back to that same town again. So now that his TR3 is all straightened out, I want,
Oh, we need to go to the Pittsburgh Vintage too.
and I definitely want to do the PVGP, which we wouldn't be participating in, so that would be more of a car
No,
show.
we
but-
want to go there, but
So I think we both agree that racing your car
Yes.
is the sweetest
Okay,
thing.
so
to
that's
do with your
number
car.
one.
Number 100%.
I would say showing a car is kind of down low on the list.
It's enjoyable for the camaraderie and for the friendship and for the networking with other enthusiasts. But as far as things to do with the car, it's definitely probably the least awesome.
Yeah,
I enjoy it.
Believe it or not,
I enjoy it, but I don't enjoy it as much as the others.
casually driving a car, that's probably right below racing a car.
I'd say yeah.
Yeah.
When everything's working right and it's a beautiful day,
Yep.
and the windows are down, or if it's a convertible, the top is down, and you're just casually driving through like a mountain road or a back road, or even just commuting to work sometimes, it's just, as a car enthusiast, that's therapy.
And I would say most of the time, renting a car, if it's not a daily driver that you need to get to work, is usually okay.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
usually
If you don't
enjoyable.
need to finish it in a certain time.
Yeah, if you're not stressed to get it back together so you can get to work.
If you're not trying to put a power steering pump in the day before the guy's flying up from Florida to pick the car up, it's enjoyable.
So I'd say that's number 3.
I don't know. I really like car shopping, and we're not.
I would. Okay.
We're not talking about
Well-
going out and buying a brand new car.
Well, I'm putting car shopping. I was going to put it before or
Here's-
above showing your car at a car show.
I'd
'Cause
put it above renting on your car, and here's what I do that.
Okay, so the thrill of the chase of buying a car.
What do you do when you're bored at work? If Andrew's boss is listening, this isn't what happens.
No,
But what do you do when you're bored at work?
everybody looks at Craigslist.
You look at cars on Craigslist. Now, to me, it's a great time killer. It's great fun. You get to window shop all the different cars that are out
Yes.
there. If you're me, you wind up owning 14 cars because of it.
Well, clearly there's groups dedicated to it.
100%.
On
Yeah,
Facebook.
obscure cars for sale and needs fuel pump,
Yeah.
and some of those things like that are dedicated to searching Craigslist. Now, I would say,
Surprised there's no group. There must be a group for thumb plate pictures.
I'm sure there is.
If there isn't a group for thumb
We should definitely
for
create
thumb
it.
plate pictures, we're trademarking that.
Okay.
Thumb plate pictures.
We'll search that tonight and create that tomorrow if it doesn't exist. So here's my list from most awesome, from least awesome to most awesome. So least awesome, car show.
Okay.
Next up is renting on my car.
Okay.
Next up is searching for a sweet deal on a car. Next up is casually driving my car. And then the greatest thing is racing your car.
I have to agree.
That's my list.
I'm going to go with that too.
And the only two that I could switch back and forth would be renting your car and searching for a sweet deal on a car.
All right.
And that depends on if I'm looking, like when I was looking to buy the truck, it was super annoying trying to find a truck.
Yes, it was.
Because I needed to buy a truck. I had a specific truck in mind that I wanted.
Yep.
It was a fairly modern vehicle. I had to deal with used car dealers,
Mm-hmm.
and it was awful.
Yep.
And I do enjoy renting on my car more than I enjoyed that. So those two could interchange back and forth. But I would say car show, renting, searching for a deal, casually driving, and then racing.
All right. Next question. So, Arizona Castro, he wants us to speak on the rarity of the 5-speed V6 first-gen four-door Montero transmission. And he says, I'm going to be buying one from a U-Pull yard, strengths, weaknesses, adaptability, and Rosterion. And he says, something I may pursue in the future, but either way, I'm going to buy it and hold on to it.
Why
don't-
do you want to swap it into a Starion?
I'm not sure. Well, I think if you wanted to swap, you could swap the tail section and make it rear-wheel drive.
But the KM132, which comes in the Starion, is fairly readily available.
Yeah.
And you can get a tough plate for the drain, for the for the fill plate. That makes it stiffer. I don't see an advantage to that.
I don't know if
I don't even know if it might even be the same. I have no idea, honestly.
I think the bell housings are different. You swap the bell housings from the V6 to the 4-cylinder. But
that-
even then, our other friends with Stereons have been telling us that the new thing now is to
RX-8 transmission, isn't it?
just a T56.
T5. Yeah, T6.
Yeah, because they're not the cheapest transmission, and because people use them in a lot of different swaps,
There's a website.
but they are everywhere. Like you can find them; they're very easy to find.
and they're like $1.95 when you find them. There's
Well, I
a
don't know if they're super cheap because you swap them into an LS 240 or something, but
there's a website I'm going to look for it right now while we're talking here. That has all of the 4G63 and all the Mitsubishi nomenclature. It has all of their swaps into rear-wheel drive platforms, and it has all of everything that works already. ProjectZeroG.com.
yeah.
It's all the info for 4G63 and 4G64 rear-wheel drive swaps. It tells you what transmissions fit
So many
what
people
bell
that
housings.
correct us on this.
That's why I'm just sending them to this website.
Yeah.
Because I've never actually swapped a 4G63 rear-wheel drive setup before.
Yeah.
This is a great question for next week because our guest is going to be here, and he's done this before. He had a 4G63.
He's actually going to be the week after.
Week after, okay. He had a 4G63 Mighty Max for a long time.
Yep.
There's a narrow block and a wide block,
Yes.
and there's different width transmissions, and it's a bolt pattern on the bell housings. And,
But I think now what
and then
people
there's
are
the
doing...
Bill Hincher adapters, and there's just so many different things you can do. I wish I had a good answer for Arizona Castro. He actually has a really, really awesome car. He has a Lancer Celeste, which is in the United States. He has in the United States. It's not really a Lancer Celeste. It's a Plymouth Arrow.
Yep.
But he has a 2.6 turbo swap in it, which is a really cool car.
But I think most people are going with the Tremix now.
Yeah, more than likely. I wish I had a better answer for this because our Mitsubishi fandom is showing a little kink in its armor here because we've never actually done this. We've always just kept what we had.
Well, it was like 2J swaps were like the one on Speed Hunters this week.
I don't like that
wide body. I liked it. I like the wide body.
I don't like that wide body one. I don't mind the 2J swap. I know there's
cool.
his name's Mike Sorelli. He has a
the silver one.
The silver one.
Modified mag.
That car's really nice.
That's a really nice
really
car.
fast.
Yeah, that's cool.
So and there's another
it's like Mike. His Instagram is like Mike Drifts Junk.
That's it. Yep.
So check that out. That's a good one.
There's another one out in the west, the Pacific Northwest. That's a 2J swap that's silver. That's really nice too. So, but anyway, that's completely off topic. Arizona, I do not know. I know that they are rare. You don't see them very often. I don't even know what transmission it is. I'm going to have to do some research on that. I'm curious. I'm genuinely curious to myself now as to what that specific transmission is. So, sorry for the cop-out answer. I don't know. Again, ProjectZeroG.com has all of the swaps for 4G60 rear-wheel drives. So I'd look there for any information because I just don't know. So, next question.
Mm-hmm. So, Frank Eck had a couple for us, and he wanted to know, do headers alone make a vehicle louder inside the cab? And
it depends on the header.
It depends on the header, but without going into the science of it or really researching it, I would say yes, just because headers are like the steel is usually thinner than would be a cast manifold,
which is why it would be louder inside.
So it would definitely be louder, and it would definitely, the exhaust pulses would echo off the inside of it. Of course, if you put a turbo on there, turbos make good mufflers, so there's always that. And then he also asked, he wanted to know, I know he knows this, what is the origin of the triple diamond symbol? I think he's testing us.
Okay.
So it's been a while since I did my Mitsubishi training. This is part of the training they actually do when you're a parts person there.
Mitsubishi.
Hishi.
Well, the actual pronunciation is Hishi.
Okay.
It becomes it becomes Bishi when you.
But it was
translate it.
It was the three families that came together to create Mitsubishi Heavy Industries. This is way before World War II.
Yep.
And that was the symbol of the three families was the three diamonds. So that's where that comes from.
It's fine. That's the story that I know.
That's the story that corporate tells you. So
that's the story you learned from Mitsubishi.
Yeah.
That's not the story that I found when I saw his question. I looked it up online, and there's a website here, and I don't want to. I don't want to say they're right or wrong. I've never heard this theory before. It's logodesignlove.com. Mitsubishi is a combination of the words Mitsu and Bishi, or Hishi, and that Hishi means water chestnut. And the word is used to denote a rhombus or a diamond shape. So that's how the diamond part came from, which I'd never heard this part until I researched that. It then goes into the story about the family crests and the companies and the three tiers, the three-tiered water chestnut chest. So it was three diamonds on top of each other first.
Okay.
And then they changed it into the three diamonds in the circle around each other as a ship's flag.
Okay.
So it goes a little deeper, and it was actually pretty interesting when I read this because I'd never heard this before.
Yeah.
So I've only known the story that because also I worked as a parts guy at Mitsubishi, and I took the same, Mitsubishi online classes that you had to take. So I knew the same story that you knew. But there were the two family crests. One of them had three oak leaves in the same arrangement as the three diamonds.
Yep.
That Mitsubishi has now, and one of them had the family crest was the three diamonds stacked on top of each other.
All right.
So,
and then he also had he was talking about the Mitsubishi. He wants to know, or how about the Mitsubishi Jeeps, which were Willys Jeeps,
Licensed through
licensed,
Chrysler to Mitsubishi.
but it was from.
Chrysler owned the patent or the licensing.
But did they build them? Was it after World War II that they built them?
Oh yeah, they built it right through the 80s.
Okay, yeah. So that's what it was. They were licensed. So Chrysler didn't own them at the time. It was probably Ford that owned them.
No, I think Chrysler owned when the production started of the J53, I think it was called.
Yeah, but if it was after World War II, I think Ford had bought Willys at that point.
Right, but I don't think that there was a Mitsubishi Jeep until after Chrysler came around.
Okay, because I thought it was basically to get vehicles on the road in Japan that they would build them under license. Because the '80s ones, all the body panels will interchange with.
Okay, Kaiser would have owned them.
That's right.
So it wasn't Ford. It was Kaiser. So Kaiser still owned the rights to the Jeep name, and they sold it to Mitsubishi to build in the 60s, or whatever time it was they did it.
But it wasn't. I guess it wasn't World War II style Jeeps because there's another Jeep from the '60s that's slightly different.
The flat fender Jeep.
Flat fender Jeep, and basically the parts are interchangeable and they're stamped with Jeep. But when
there's a few different things, that the grill has the Mitsubishi logo.
Yeah, and you open the hood, but a lot of the parts say Jeep on them. You open the hood though. Was it a G54B or? It was a Mitsu 4-cylinder. It wasn't a Jeep 4-cylinder.
It was all Mitsu powered.
Yeah.
G52B would have been the motors in it.
Mm-hmm.
Because, again, I'm going to be really anal about this, and I'm looking it up right now. It predates what I thought it even was. 1953.
Yeah.
So it was still owned by Willys.
Yeah.
So it was the Willys and then eventually
yeah.
Kaiser. So in 1953,
Pretty good guess.
they marketed it as an alternative to like the Nissan Patrol and the Land Cruiser and those things.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the J3. So
yeah, because they're basically, I mean, at that point, it's only 10 years after World War II. You know, Japan is still being rebuilt. They just need vehicles.
right.
So
And it was the cool thing about it was they were sold. I don't know what you know about Japanese car dealerships.
Yeah.
But you don't go to like a Mitsubishi dealer and buy every model of Mitsubishi. They have different boutique dealers for different models of cars. Like the Mazda Miata wasn't sold at a Mazda dealer; it was sold at a Unos dealer.
Unos, yeah.
They didn't sell these Jeeps at a Mitsubishi dealer; they sold them at a dealership called Gallant Shop. So, kind of a weird little thing that I had heard before.
That's pretty neat.
So yeah, they built them for a long time, right up until 1998, and they had diesels in them in the end.
Yeah, neat.
So
And you can import them now. So
and you can definitely import a lot of them. And my wife really wants a Jeep. So I told her we're going to get a right-hand drive Mitsubishi Jeep.
All right,
diesel
cool.
Jeep. So hopefully soon enough.
Deliver rural mail.
Nah, it's cooler than that.
Anyway, all right. So let's do the last question because we're getting a little long here. So Chris Dorado asks, "What is your favorite quirky option feature on any sort of car?"
Okay, I have an answer for that one.
Okay.
He already knows.
Yeah.
The Delica vans
Yeah.
came with a karaoke machine optional.
Or an icebox.
Icebox is less interesting. A karaoke machine
Karaoke's
in your
pretty
car
cool.
is pretty ridiculous.
That's pretty good.
So that's probably my favorite factory option.
I always like the was the Maxima with the door is ajar. The door is
Or
ajar.
my Sapporo does that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another cool one. It was available for a very short period of time in 1969 on the GTO.
Yeah.
They had factory electric cutouts.
Whoa.
Yeah, they only made them for a very short period of time before some bean counter lawyer was like, "Wait a second, we can't sell this way."
Nope.
So they're super rare. I don't know if any of them still exist or not. There is a commercial. You can see the commercial where the guy rolls into like a drive-in,
Yeah.
and it's
Just cranks them
he
open.
cranks them open, and it's like the growling tiger shows up in the background in the GTO. So that's a pretty cool factory thing.
You know what was a
Oh, the new Camaros have line lock.
oh
The new Z28 has factory line
but those
lock.
aren't those I guess those aren't too quirky.
They're not quirky, but they're awesome.
Okay. The quirkiest one though, your 80s Cressida you had.
Yeah, that is a little quirkier than a
'Cause
karaoke machine.
They had the
I guess.
birthday reminder.
It was bizarre because they had a trip computer
Yeah.
that showed you all the normal trip computer stuff,
Yep.
and then it said birthday. I'm like, that's weird. I didn't think anything of it.
Months before.
This is months before. Yeah, I didn't think anything of it, and I put my birthday in it. It was like 5/18. This is probably in November or whatever.
Yeah. It's like 6 months go by.
So I get in the car on my birthday, and put the key in the ignition and turn it on, and it starts playing Happy Birthday, like a digitized 80s version of Happy Birthday, not through a stereo speaker, through like like a speaker up under the dashboard somewhere. Not the door chime speaker, not a stereo speaker.
Probably my favorite one.
And it just, I was like, I got in the car and I was like, what the hell was that?
Imagine like the salesman, and this car will play you happy birthday on your birthday. What can I do to put you in it today?
Exactly. So that was really cool. I you know what? Knowing what I know now about that car, I never should have gotten rid of it the way I did because it was really rusty when
that
you
we
junked
should have lemons.
But that was a green 85 Cressida with a green velour interior with the trip computer and digital dashboard. And it was a really rare option package in that car. So,
All right, so that'll do it for tonight, or this episode, I should say, because you can listen to this at any time.
Right. That'll do it for whenever it is.
That'll do it for whenever. You do you.
That'll do it for this day. That'll do it for tonight. That'll do it for your lunch break.
Yep.
That'll do it for your commute home.
So just
covered it all?
again, a reminder: get your entries in for the coloring contest.
You want to win a sweet model car kit?
That's right.
Maybe even a die cast.
Please like, review us, share us on iTunes. You can get us on iTunes, Google Music, and I am posting back episodes to YouTube. I'm almost all caught up.
YouTubes?
The YouTubes.
Sweet.
So you can find us there too if you want to use YouTube to play your music or listen to podcasts.
Yeah, a lot of people are using that for like a music player now.
Yeah, that's why I figured it was good to put on there. And anyways, thanks for listening. And keep your cars analog.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram.
Oh, that's right.
Andrew doesn't like to plug our social media, so I'll do it for him.
Okay.
Our Instagram is Auto Off Topic.
Red lighted there a bit.
Our Facebook page, Auto Off Topic Podcast.
Yep.
My Facebook page, Vintage Imports New England.
Okay.
My Instagram, Vintage Imports NE. Mm-hmm. And then Andrew, we'll see all his pictures from the 24 Hours Daytona we'll be at.
At Raced in Anger.
Correct. Okay. Also on Facebook.
Also on Facebook. I think I might try to steal a thing from Bradley Brownell. Well, I'll take a selfie every hour of the race. Like
I have to look at 24 pictures of you?
Like he did at Le Mans and just see him get tireder and tireder and tireder as the day goes on.
I'll take a picture every hour on my couch as I watch it from home. No, I won't do that. Sorry, people.
It's got a really crazy TV schedule. But I think you get Fox Sports too. I don't get it.
I do get FS2, yeah.
So you can watch it all.
All 24 will be on TV?
It's going to be, they're going to switch between Fox Sports 1, Fox Sports 2.
Okay.
It'll be on Fox Sports Go, which I get. That'll be the entire time, but I have to watch it on my tablet, but whatever. But I'm not going to watch it on my tablet
because you're going to be there live.
I'm going to be there.
I'm watching my tablet cursing you the whole time.
Fuck it, do it live. So
yeah, and every time you post your picture of you, I'm going to flip off my phone.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Just so you know.
All right.
All right. Anyway, please rate, review, share, all that good stuff, and
I'll redo it.
Redo it now.
Thanks for listening. Keep your cars analog.
Good night.
Good night.